So we heard from Sriranjani, Professor Sriranjani, the first case that she says was intriguing and which actually affected the lives of all our people. And so there's one more which she says is as important and which we should know about. So what was that one about?
That's A.K. Gopalan was the state of Madras.
Okay.
Many of us would know about A.K. Gopalan, the erstwhile communist leader.
Yes.
Well, A.K. Gopalan was detained under Preventive Detention Act, and he contended that his civil liberties were sought to be infringed on account of preventive detention.
Okay.
He wasn't in a position to enjoy the rights granted to him under Article 19 relating to personal freedoms, and declared that as a citizen of India he had right to equality before law and equal protection of all laws.
So he should not be just grabbed and...
challenged his preventive detention.
So that what are these fundamental rights that you said that you were denied?
Well, these are rights which are considered paramount.
Okay.
And they ensure the fullest realization of
Tell us a few of these rights. What are they? Like, I mean, freedom to speak, is it? Or to
yes.
hear,
I mean, broadly, you can classify fundamental rights in our constitution as a right to equality.
Okay.
Right to personal freedoms, which include freedom of speech and speech and expression, right to assemble peaceably,
move
right
around.
to form associations, yes. Right to move around, as you said, move freely throughout the territory of India or reside in any part of the territory of India. That's right.
Okay.
Right to practice any trade, business or occupation. Incidentally, right to property was also part of Article 19, but that has been struck down. It was repealed by the
They didn't feel that that was that ought to be there.
The 44th Constitutional Amendment Act in 1978
said right to freedom.
Yes,
I mean, right to
that was
property.
during the Janata regime that the right to property was just taken away. It's no longer a fundamental right, but remains a constitutional right.
Okay, okay. So that's how that happened. So then back to...
But back to the case of A.K. Gopalan. Gopalan challenged his detention. And the court, however, upheld the detention because on examination it was found that he was detained according to procedure established by law.
So they're not arguing about whether it was a good detention, bad detention, whether
exactly, because at that point of time, Supreme Court believed that, you know, Article 19 was separate, 21 was very different, and as long as, you know, the detention is in accordance with the procedure established by law, the court would not interfere. But over a period of time, things have changed. In Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, Supreme Court overruled the decision in A.K. Gopalan's case and held that it's not enough that action is taken according to procedure established by law. The action or the procedure should also be just and fair. That's very important.
So that was the reinterpretation of the same thing.
Yes. In fact, in Maneka Gandhi's case, Maneka Gandhi's passport was sought to be impounded.
But they do routinely today.
They do that. But in her case, she asked for reasons. She said, why, on what grounds is my passport being impounded? To which the passport authorities replied, saying that in the interest of public they cannot divulge the reasons. So the matter was taken to court. It went all the way to the apex court, and Justice Bhagwati, speaking on behalf of the apex court, declared that the term law includes natural justice, and basic principles of natural justice mandate that an affected party should be heard, has a right to make a representation, audi alterum partem. That's a basic principle of natural justice, which in this case was totally overlooked.
They never told her why.
No, they never gave her reasons, and therefore the court struck down the decision of the passport authority and quashed the
Well, it's too late for A.K. Gopalan.
decision to impound her passport. Interestingly, in that case, they said the law in A.K. Gopalan's case does not, I mean, the law declared does not hold good anymore, which is very good for you and me, because now we are living in a country where the apex court has recognized that Article 21 also includes the due process clause, like in America.
So it happened.
Yes, it's not enough that the state acts according to procedure, but the procedure must also be just and fair.
So who vets out all these things? Is it always only after being challenged in court?
We have the three organs, in not just in India, but in every other civilized nation of the world. You have the executive, the legislature and the judiciary. The legislature would frame laws, the executive would implement it. They execute the law, but you need the judiciary to interpret laws. You need certain checks and balance in any system.
True.
And judicial review will allow judiciary to examine any law in the country.
How do so many bad laws go through if this process is mandatory?
bad laws do go through, but bad laws are also sometimes struck down as unconstitutional simply because of judicial review.
Oh, that
because
that
the court
later.
has a right to examine a law and see if it passes the test of reasonability and see if it is in keeping with constitutional provisions, and if it seeks to infringe or take away or abrogate any of the fundamental rights.
So is this done on their
This is
own
the position
accord?
in India. The Supreme Court can declare that particular law is unconstitutional.
So is that done on their own accord, or somebody has to prod them into it? I mean, there are so many
Yes,
laws.
somebody has
and
to prod them into it. Take Sarita's case.
Okay,
Who's
who's Sarita?
well, actress Sarita.
Yes.
Well, she challenged Section 9 of Hindu Marriage Act because, in her case, her husband had filed a petition for restitution of conjugal rights.
Okay.
And she said that if she were forced to stay with him or having sexual intercourse with the husband, that would be a invasion of her right to privacy.
Okay, all right.
And the High Court of Andhra Pradesh upheld her contention.
All right.
In that case,
so that's like
and declared
fundamentally
that possibly Section 9 of Hindu Marriage Act should be declared unconstitutional. But in this case, the Supreme Court took a differing view and believed that marriage goes beyond mere sexual intercourse and declared that
she should not be
Section
forced
9
to do
is
that.
valid.
Okay, her objection is valid.
Section 9 they declared as valid. In her case, the court, Andhra Pradesh High Court, had declared that she was entitled to her right to privacy.
So now you can also surmise from the conversation we've had that if we think that we're living in a perfectly proper democratic society, we can't be more wrong. Laws are constantly being changed and being overthrown. So let's hope that it just goes along well. When we come back to the last one, we'll find out about what exactly she's doing now as a professor teaching human rights. What exactly she's doing, what she's seeing going on.